What is up, everybody? How you doing today? Welcome back to the Hunter Call in the Wild. And today, I thought we would do a little bit of a red deer guide. After finding my great one, I finally started to figure out how this grind worked, and it wasn't terribly difficult. Really, anybody can do this grind. The nice thing about red deer is I think they're a lot more condensed than they used to be. They're not in as many spots, which I'll go on ahead and share those spots with you. Red deer can be found on the river from right here to right here, so from corner to corner of the river. At the top end of this lake right here, this little area right here is a whole bunch of red deer. This lake, this lake, this lake, this lake, this lake, this lake are all very good. This lake has one single stag zone usually, so I would not bother with this lake at all. I mean, you can check it, but I wouldn't worry about doing a grind on it. These two lakes are amazing up here in Rotanui, and the two Pucamara lakes are also extremely good. Now, the reason I say red deer are more condensed than they used to be is while they didn't used to be at this lake and this lake, or this lake right here, they did used to be all along this river and all along these three lakes down here as well. So they've kind of just gone into a smaller area, and I feel like some of these lakes are a lot easier to grind. That's just what I think. They're not as difficult to see anymore, and that is the really nice thing is with new red deer drink times, which I'll go on ahead and give you 6 to 10 in the morning. Red deer are a lot easier to find. Okay, like when they're out here drinking in the morning, they're so much easier to find, and with the recent changes that make animals drink down in the water, it makes a big difference. Okay, now one thing I do recommend doing is setting up your grind for as many zones as you can. Okay, and then just use the ATV to go and get your animals. All right, it doesn't hurt that much. While the ATV will spook animals within a fairly large radius, as long as you're just like hopping away 500 meters this way or a kilometer that way, then you're fine. It's gonna really speed up the process and allow you to get to more zones in less time. And I was able to get to this red deer a whole lot faster than if I had walked. So let's see what we've got in a 207.7 level 7, almost a mythical weight. Got him with the right lung with the 308. Not half bad at all. Let's take a look at their scoring. Silver is 90.5, gold is 182.25, and diamond is 251.07. Alright, just so that kind of clarifies a few things for all of y'all. Now, when it comes to actually grinding red deer, there's certain strategies you can use. My grind only took 610 kills. Okay, and the strategy I used was called herd management. If you want probably a more in-depth video on it, go to Scarecrow's channel. He has a video really explaining how he did it, but I'll go give y'all a quick overview of how I did it. What I did was I basically went from zone to zone and shot anything that I could that was a 5 or above. So I didn't shoot any level 4s or 3s or 2s. I just left them. I didn't mess with them. I didn't shoot them. And I didn't shoot a single one throughout the course of the grind. And over time, animals come back randomly. Though I think they have a higher chance of either, if they're bigger, they have a higher chance of respawning as larger animals. If they're smaller, they have a, oh, hush your mouth, woman. She's always butting into the conversation. But if they're smaller, they tend to typically respawn smaller. So you don't necessarily want to shoot the smaller ones. And if you leave the smaller ones, then there'll be more that respawn bigger. If you get where I'm going? And then, over time, as you get your herds really down the way you want, eventually you'll start to notice that there's more 4s. And that's just because over time things do, oh my gosh, yeah, things respawn randomly. And we're going to have to come back and get that guy. I hadn't checked this spot since I finished my grind. And we've just got a 9 chilling out here. But like I said, things respawn randomly. And you never know if that will, if the bigger animals will come back as a bigger animal or a smaller animal. But if you leave those smaller animals, typically more bigger animals will come back from the ones that you do shoot. If that makes sense. If you need me to clarify more, feel free to ask questions in the comments. But I feel like that's the easiest way to explain it. So I hadn't planned on going any further. I'd planned on ending the video right here, but we've got a legendary that we've got to go get. So I'm probably gonna go, I don't know, I might exit the main menu, that way he'll calm down, and then we'll come back and get him. Well guys, our legendary is back right there. And as you noticed, that was a new zone that got discovered, but he's the only one in it. And the reason we had never seen this guy before is because he is a single stag. And I'll go on ahead and explain this, honestly, as part of the grind. When you're grinding, there are herd zones that have males and females, and then there are just stag-only zones, okay? And they usually don't respawn as well, the stag-only zones. They're not as consistent. And eventually, especially with the single stag zones, if you shoot him, then his zone wipes. If there's only one animal left and you shoot that one last animal, the zone wipes and it moves to somewhere else on the map. And if I had to guess, what happened here was that we shot a single stag somewhere else on the map. He came back, respawned as a 9 over here, somewhere that we didn't grind. So yeah, that is what happens, and that is why I recommend every 500 or so ish kills to go back through your whole map and like to the areas you have not been grinding and just check them, because if you do shoot those single stag zones, they could respawn in other places that you don't always check. Oftentimes they'll either respawn back in the same place or on another area that you do grind, but the few places that you don't, like I never grinded this part of the river, this lake, or this lake, so after 500 kills on my grind, I went and checked those places just to be sure that nothing had come back there that I thought would be good. And he must have respawned later in the grind, because yeah, I mean, I hadn't seen this guy. I had not seen him at all. So let's go on ahead up here and grab him. He is the smaller rack. I only had 1 diamond small rack during the grind, and I had 1 diamond of the wonky mixed rack. But let's see what we've got. And a 253.10 to 30.64 kg. Not half bad. Not half bad at all. I mean, hey, I'll take a diamond red deer all day long. Just a sweet little treat to find out here. Well guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hopefully this shows just how effective red deer grinding is out here on Awaora, and what you can accomplish with it. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time.